Ricky's back. Now, 8 o'clock this morning, Ricky got back behind the desk and he said in the media there's one thing he's learnt in the week off, Gus, there is not enough care in this world. A philosophical Ricky Stewart. I suppose he's referring to the Paul Green stuff, which has been just awful. The one thing I've learnt out of this week off is how fortunate I am to have the circle of friends and family I have. I couldn't ask for a better circle of mates. You quickly learn who they are when you face adversity. So Ricky's back for the Raiders. It'll probably take him 10 minutes before he gave someone a spray, I'm sure, but he's had a bit of time to think about things and just mellow for a week.
Mellow for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that was unfortunate. And as I've said publicly, I was a little too close to that situation to comment, and I haven't, and I won't. And it's probably best left behind everyone now. Ricky's paid his penalty and admitted he probably said the wrong thing at the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's our Ricky.
Philosophical Ricky, and of course that all leads into the Paul Green stuff, and as we've seen this week, an outpouring of emotion and accolades and love, and I guess with that frustration and just can't understand how things get that bad or what have you. But I guess we'll never know exactly what was going on in his life, that he thought that was the only option left to him. Very sad time, particularly those that were close to them. And as I said, in my lifetime, and particularly in rugby league, I've known 7 or 8 that have taken their lives, going back into the 70s, and none of them at any time gave any indication that there was anything wrong with their lives, let alone go to such extremes, which is quite incredible and always frustrating to be close to someone and have them decide that was the only option left to them. And I guess it's for smarter people than me that study mental health and study psychology and those types of things to explain why they do what they do. I did read a study once that of people who had attempted suicide and failed. In other words, they had lived through it. They had attempted it and lived through it. At the very last instant, regretted what they were doing. A large percentage of them, and that's even sadder. That maybe it got to that point and then realised, But as I say, we'll never know. It's just terrible. If you want to talk to someone, Lifeline 13 11 14. There is help for people who are struggling. There would be heaps of people listening to us that have had issues. It's not that easy to get help off the bat, but you can reach out, and we hope you do. And maybe one last thing on this in relation to social media. Instead of just being a keyboard warrior and hammering people online, just have a think about it before you do it. Maybe just have a think about how it's received on the other end of the keyboard or the screen. Maybe that's one tiny step that we can take to be a little bit more judicious on what we write in these environments.
Yeah, I'm sure that people that built that platform never envisaged that this would be such a significant part of the patronage and the people that use the platforms, and the vast majority of anonymous accounts who do it cowardly behind not even their own name, and obviously are only there with one intention, is to abuse or deride or discriminate against other people. And that's the sad part of it. And it's we see great benefit in communicating with people through social media and advertising the work that we do and getting good messages out there. But the stuff you have to deal with and put up with, for those small benefits is sometimes just not worth it.
Yep.
It's really not. I don't know how kids deal with it, really. There's a lot of pressure on kids, and some of the other things that I've learned over the years, mainly through the football and talking to them about their school years and all that sort of thing, there's terrible bullying and discrimination and pressure and
body image, that sort of stuff.
Blackmail and all sorts of things that go on, which are just a part of our school. We don't know. Parents would be oblivious
to who is in their house
Yeah.
through these
Oh,
through the internet and other mediums. Anyway,
I got two
that's for
teenagers
people
and it's
far
frightening.
smarter than me to sort that out and get that right.
No, but you see the practical, but you see the life examples of this stuff, with your young people at the club.
Oh, we do.
And
Oh,
across
look,
footy clubs.
we and I've said this about rugby league a lot. Some of our greatest successes in rugby league development never go to play NRL, but rugby league and the environment that we create for kids as young as 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age in their very formative years, and they'll be in parts of our development program or participation programs, but being part of the team and being part of rugby league and that environment is the only form of love and friendship and discipline and direction they've ever received. The family life has failed them, and school life has failed them, and there's really coming into that environment. We take that responsibility very seriously. I think you were at the meeting the other day, the cultural awareness meeting here at Channel 9, where Jonathan Thurston spoke about his experiences and particularly through his foundation, the people that he meets and the difficulties they go through. And I've been through that 1,000 times over the last 30 or 40 years. Some of our kids come from horrific backgrounds. Not humble, horrific.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And horrific lifestyles and during their formative years. And that can only leave mental scars and self-doubt and self-image doubts and even fear of other people. It's and we deal with that a lot. Rugby league has so many successes that no one ever see, that no one ever realise. And what the people that do in our game, the volunteers, right from the parents and grandparents and volunteers that get out to junior league to try to make a team environment and have people feel a part of something, through to the more elite levels where we bring them in, and because of their talent they qualify for these areas, but doesn't necessarily guarantee they're going to go on to be NRL players. But we get a lot. They're talked to a lot, lectured a lot. There's counselling for all of them. We try to give them what I call a plan B. They can't play unless there's no work, no study, no play. We've got to get them set up for their life, not just for the chance that they might play NRL football, because the vast majority of them don't. And even those that do, 60% of them play less than 50 games. The statistics are fairly damning in that respect. So we need to educate them for later in life and support them, and they end up growing up to be good citizens and good family men themselves, and it breaks the cycle of the horrific upbringing that they've had to endure. It's some really sad stories out there, but some great successes too.
Yeah.
Some great successes, and I'm just saying that with rugby league, but there would be other people in other walks of life that provide these types of services and help out. Gus Wallen, you mentioned there, and he's gone out and tried to do his bit. There's everyone trying to help once they've experienced what this is. Plenty of people out there trying to help, and if you can save one, well, it's all been worthwhile. But every now and then we have something close to us like this, with a Paul Green, and it's just a reminder that there's still a lot more to be done.
I feel like this one's rocked everyone. I mean, not that other circumstances similar to this haven't, but I feel like this one's so close to the game. I mean, he was the Origin coach of Queensland last year. He was a big part of, he's a huge part of the history of the Cowboys, along with JT, who's been cut up badly by this as well. We think of his family and all of his many friends, and as I say, there's help. If you need it,
it's hard to imagine what was wrong, isn't it? It's hard to imagine what.
Well, that's the scary part of it.
Yeah, and as I say, it could well have been something totally unrelated to rugby league and the man that we knew publicly and for those that knew him privately. It could have been something completely different. We just don't know.